The port city of Asab, on Eritrea's southern Red Sea coast, is a linchpin in the Horn of Africa's politics, trade, and security. Asab sits on one of the world's busiest maritime routes, making it a valuable asset for nations seeking influence over international shipping. For Ethiopia, Asab is a lost gateway to the Red Sea, critical for trade and economic independence since Eritrea's independence in 1993. Ethiopia's rapid economic growth has only intensified its desire for a maritime outlet, complicating already tense relations with Eritrea. Global powers like China, the US and Gulf states also eye Asab, seeking influence over this vital trade corridor. The city's fate is now a matter of both regional and global consequence, as local ambitions intersect with international interests. Asab's future will be shaped by how these competing interests are managed, potentially as a source of conflict or cooperation. Asab's location at Eritrea's southern tip, near the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, gives it control over a critical maritime choke point. Its access to shipping routes linking the Mediterranean and Indian Ocean makes it a coveted economic and strategic asset. Before Eritrea's secession, Asab was Ethiopia's main maritime hub, highlighting the nation's interdependence. Ethiopia's loss of Asab forced reliance on Djibouti, with lasting economic repercussions. Asab's port facilities and proximity to international waters offer lucrative opportunities for development, attracting interest from China and Gulf states. For Eritrea, developing Asab could transform it into a regional trade center. The city's economic promise makes it a focal point for both development and contention in the Red Sea region. Asab's story is inseparable from Eritrea's hard-fought independence in 1993, which left Ethiopia landlocked and economically vulnerable. The loss of Asab was a blow to Ethiopia's national psyche and a catalyst for the 1998-2000 border war, deepening animosities. For Eritrea, Asab became a symbol of sovereignty and victory over colonial legacies. For Ethiopia, it remains a source of grievance and a reminder of economic vulnerability. The scars of conflict still shape both nations' politics and their fraught relationship. The legacy of these events continues to influence the region's diplomatic and economic landscape. Understanding this history is key to grasping the current dynamics around Asab. Asab is more than a port. It's a symbol of national identity for both Eritrea and Ethiopia. For Eritreans, it represents triumph and resilience after decades of struggle. For Ethiopians, it's a painful reminder of lost access to the sea and ongoing economic challenges. The city's status reflects the evolving relationship between the two nations and the broader power dynamics in the Horn of Africa. Asab's symbolism fuels narratives of pride, loss, and unfinished business on both sides. Its role as a national symbol keeps it at the center of regional tensions and aspirations. Understanding Asab's symbolic weight is crucial to decoding the region's ongoing disputes. Ethiopia's booming economy is hampered by its landlocked status and reliance on Djibouti for maritime trade. The country pays over $1.5 billion annually in port fees, highlighting the urgency for alternative sea access. Rapid growth in agriculture, manufacturing, and services has made efficient trade routes a national priority. Dependence on Djibouti exposes Ethiopia to strategic vulnerabilities and limits its economic potential. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has made securing a maritime outlet a central goal, tying it to Ethiopia's survival and regional influence. The quest for sea access shapes Ethiopia's domestic and foreign policy, complicating relations with Eritrea. Resolving these maritime challenges will be pivotal for Ethiopia's future trajectory. Political rhetoric over Asab and Ethiopia's maritime ambitions has intensified, raising regional tensions. Ethiopian leaders frame sea access as existential, while Eritrea views such rhetoric as a threat to its sovereignty. This war of words risks diplomatic missteps and further divides the two nations. The Horn of Africa's history of grievances makes the situation especially volatile. Regional and global actors are watching closely, wary of potential conflict. The power of rhetoric underscores the need for careful diplomacy and dialogue. Words can either inflame tensions or open doors to peaceful resolution. The Red Sea's strategic value has drawn global powers like China, the US, and Gulf states to the region. Asab's proximity to key shipping lanes makes it a prize for those seeking economic and strategic influence. China invests heavily in Red Sea infrastructure, eyeing Asab for its Belt and Road initiative. The US and Gulf states also seek to secure maritime routes and counter rivals. These global interests complicate local dynamics, influencing the calculations of Eritrea and Ethiopia. Asab's fate now resonates far beyond the Horn of Africa, impacting global trade and security. The city stands at the crossroads of international competition and collaboration. The Horn of Africa's history shows how rhetoric and ambition can spark conflict. The 1998-2000 Ethiopia-Eritrea war was fueled by unresolved tensions and inflammatory language. Today's rhetoric over Asab echoes those dangerous dynamics. Miscommunication and escalation remain real risks. As both nations navigate their fraught relationship, diplomacy and dialogue are essential to prevent history from repeating itself. International actors can play a key role in facilitating peaceful solutions. The lessons of the past must guide efforts to avoid future conflict. Asab's future could either unite or divide the Horn of Africa. Its strategic and symbolic weight makes it central to regional stability. Dialogue and cooperation could transform Asab into a hub for integration and development. Failure to resolve underlying issues risks renewed conflict with far-reaching consequences. Global and regional actors must support peace initiatives and mediation. The choices made now will determine whether Asab becomes a symbol of peace or a flashpoint for war. The responsibility for a positive outcome rests with leaders and communities committed to a better future.